Hi. Well, it's been a minute, but I decided to get my butt out of the house today, and I wanted to scout an area that I had test panned before, and while the gold's not the biggest, I was able to get some decent flower gold. So I'm out on this river right now that's hardly running. There's very little water flow. I was going to set up a sluice, but I decided that it would be more of a pain in the butt to do than what it would be worth. And I only have a couple of hours because normally I would come out really early in the morning. But this was kind of on whim. I wanted to check this location to see if there was still decent flood gold here since I hadn't been out in a while. And that's what we're going to do today. So I hope you enjoy. And yeah, just watch. And the reason I picked this location is we have an inside bend here, and there's a lot of rocks deposited. And the last time I checked this area, there was a lot of flower gold. I was able to run it through my sluice because we had more water flow, but it's okay that the water's not moving and that it's lower, because then we can get to some spots that normally would have been underwater. All right, stay tuned and we're gonna get at it. All right, we're gonna dig in this spot, do some samples here. It's gonna be a short video today because I don't have a lot of time, and I actually do want to scout this area. It's hard to actually scout and work and film at the same time, but yeah, we're gonna try this spot here and see what we get. I got my large production gold claw pan that we're gonna use today. It'll act as a classifier as well. That's why I chose to bring it. This area where I'm digging is really muddy, full of clay, which is all right. Gold sticks to clay. We're going to see what we can get out of this mess, this muck. Really heavy organic material. This dirt is just black with rotting vegetation. This near standing water is just filled with all kinds of critters, probably mosquitoes, other nasty things. All right, first little pan. Get it in the water and see what we have. Nothing. All right, time to choose a different spot. GoPro, turn off. GoPro, stop recording. All right, so I moved about 30 feet down, and I like the look of this gravel, and we got a worm with us in there as well. We can see there's a lot of black sand, a lot more bigger gravel. The pan just looks better in general. A lot of trash and stuff in there too. But we're gonna pan this out and see if we see any color. I'm gonna set you up over here. And hopefully you don't fall over. Hopefully I don't fall over. This water is very murky, so I can't see much. Again, I got trash and stuff in there, but let's see what we got this time. Oh yeah, this is definitely heavier. Nice thing about the gold clock pan, very fast. Get all the big rocks out. Get us down to just our fine stuff. Take out any other detritus. I can feel we got some heavy clay. Go and get those bigger rocks out of there. The look of the gravel, but no flashes of little color. The bigger rocks out of the way. See one micro, but oh, I see some little tiny specks. Maybe 2, 3. Real tiny. I know this river has some much bigger, chunkier bits and flakes, but I've been to that area a lot. Pretty much clean out the honey holes, which there are few and far between. So I decided to come over here and well, the GoPro won't see these, but I have 1, 2, 3 little tiny specks. So I'm actually going to, since I had more that were revealed here, I'm going to move down even a little bit further and see if the speck count doesn't go up. And I'm not even going to bother sucking these up, they're so tiny. Alright, let us continue our journey. You can see the water is really murky and full of trash and what have you. Always have a shovel and go in front of you when you're exploring areas like this. Alright, I'm going to turn you off for a bit and then I'll turn you back on if I get a decent speck count. Alright, I moved down a little bit. I'm going to dig not under this grass, but right up next to it. Flood gold and stuff likes to catch in the vegetation, so we're going to give this a try. And this is about another 30 feet down or so downstream from where our last pan was, so we'll see if the speck count picks up. Got some neighbors, got some grasshoppers. We're going to put you right there. Not really, there is gravel here, but not a whole lot. Let's turn you a little bit so you can see. Okay. Maybe, I can't really see much. Feels gravelly, sandy. A lot of organic sand again. Really dirty muck. There are some old roots that I feel that I'm busting through down here. The root systems will capture gold by slowing down the water flow and deposition of material. But this stuff is nasty. Let's see. Real dark. And what do you know? I think we got a piece of gold that just came up on my shovel. Let me show you. Right there. Or actually, it almost looks like part of a SIM card. I'm not sure. Could be a fleck of paint, but we'll see. All right, we're gonna put you back there. I'm gonna go through this pan and see what I get. I'm really just kind of scouting today. Again, I don't have a whole lot of time, but I thought I'd get out and just touch a couple of spots that I had kind of looked at in the past, thought I would return to. Haven't had the chance, but decided I'd get off my butt today and get out of my house, see what we can see. Rock. There are different ways to use this pan as far as finishing goes. You can use it like a standard pan and do this dip method, or you can get everything to the bottom and underwater gently turn it so that all the material goes over the riffles. But the lighter and bigger stuff that can't get caught in the riffles shimmies off. I like it because it's very fast, especially when you're scouting. This is the production pan, so it's a little bit bigger than the scouting pan I normally use, but I've had a hunch that maybe I might find something, so production pan would make it worth it to bring out and use. And I'm not seeing anything in the fine sand. and I didn't get anything. So I either lost that little super thin flake, it was almost like foil, or it was actually, could have been a paint chip. I've seen those in the river and been fooled by them before, just at a glance, and then realized, yeah, it's a paint chip. Or I may have been aggressively panning and it got flushed out. But the fact that I don't see anything else tells me this spot's probably a no-go. All right, oops, sorry about the sun. So I moved down about another 15-20 feet and I went away from the bank and into the water a bit, and I actually got a better speck count. It's tiny, but at least you can see it, or at least hopefully. GoPros aren't very good at picking stuff up, but right in the corner there you can see one larger speck and a whole bunch, probably about 6, 7, 8 little micros. Not that the big one is very big, but it's got a little bit of girth to it. So we're going to continue to test that area. I'm going to move into the river like a foot or two, take a sample, as well as move up and down from that spot and see if the speck count increases. All right, we're going to go a little bit deeper to see if the speck count increases, and then we'll move up and down from that spot. When you're sampling, it's really important to always clean out your pan really good between samples. That way you're not cross-contaminating. That way you get a good idea of what you're retrieving. You're going to go in about 2 feet, if I can. Something hard right here. Nice black material, a lot of organics, but a lot of black sand and heavy gravels with it, so that's nice to see. This pan will easily hold 3 full shovels, so that's what we'll sample. Put our shovel to mark our spot. Let's see what we have. Well, it looks like we have more finds. Real small. roughly the same spec count. Maybe a tiny bit more, but real super fine. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, about a dozen micro pieces. I don't know if the GoPro will pick them up, but they're right there. Real tiny. Like I said, about a dozen pieces. So nothing too exciting. I found some really good size chunky flakes on this river, but they're few and far between, and nice little deposits that you can, if you know what you're looking for, you can easily spot where that stuff is going to fall. I'm up above that area by quite a bit, and again, I'm just testing out this area to see if there's any decent flood gold. And it's here, but yeah, real tiny stuff. All right, so moving inward to the bank about a foot and a half, it produced about the same number spec count wise, 8 to a dozen, super fine. So that tells me that I now need to go upstream and test for about a foot or two and see if the spec count increases. And if it stays about the same or decreases, then in that one spot I originally dug in, I'll probably go a little deeper and see if the spec count and size increases. But yeah, nothing too exciting today. Sorry. All right, just to give you an idea again of this dark, organic, mucky stuff that we're digging, here's a close-up. Real nasty stuff. That's to be expected at this part of the bank. It tends to flood, and then the water sticks around after it settles when the water flow is low. And so you get a lot of stuff just rotting. Kind of nasty to dig in, but at least it's not the worst stuff that I've dug in. I've dug in some stuff that was really stinky as well. So this isn't too bad. But anyway, this pan is going to be about 3 feet upstream from the primary dig spot. All right, so I went downstream about a couple feet, 2-3 feet, and again, super fine micro stuff. I don't know if you can see that. There's in the shade, and there's spec count. Spec count again, about a dozen, maybe even a little bit more. Spec count might have gone up a little bit, but it's super fine stuff, and basically it tells me kind of which way this little streak is going, but I don't think it's necessarily worth digging, at least for panning, unless you're just out enjoying yourself, which is mostly what I do. This is really a hobby. I haven't really made any money off of this. I just like to get out. But yeah, I may go explore other parts of the river, or I may dig up some more of this stuff, but I'm not too sure. I was only planning on being out for a couple hours, and it's midday, so it's actually toasty. I usually get out about 5 a.m. before the sun is up, but I've been having a difficult time getting my butt out of bed, so I'm out here later. But anyway, I think that's just going to wrap it up for today as far as filming goes. I'm going to poke around. If I find anything interesting, I'll turn on the camera and show you guys. But this is what prospecting is. You're basically searching, you find traces of gold, and then you start to dig around and do more sampling up, down, and sideways from that spot to see if the spec count increases or decreases. That way you can hone in on that particular spot where that little deposit is. This stuff's super fine. It is depositing, but it's so small that I don't know if I'm going to keep digging here. But again, I'll turn on the camera if I find anything else, and if I don't, have a good day. We'll see you all later. All right, well, I checked out a couple of other spots. I really didn't find anything, so I'm going to call it a short day, short video. Yeah, it just wasn't really feeling it. From what I saw, there wasn't really anything worth putting in the effort. I haven't been out in a long time, so I'm also out of shape. So I was getting tired from not actually doing too much. And also my left wader, which I had repaired in the past, sprung a leak, so my left leg was getting wet. And so I decided to call it. But we'll be back, we'll be at it. And until then, get outside, do some digging, touch some grass, spend time with family. Just get outside and enjoy the nice weather. We're having a beautiful fall right now, and I hope that you're out there enjoying it. All right, until next time, we'll catch you later.